All right, Scorpio, let's see what our main energy is and get this reading rolling. So where's our main energy for this rest of this month? And of course, we get 2 cards because that's how we roll. We have the Emperor and the 5 of Cups. The Emperor, to me, is one of structure. It's this person knows all the inner workings of their space, and they are able to control the space they want. Like, this is the creator and the like, how I look at Emperor energy is like organization, thoughtfulness, being well aware and involved in the inner workings of your space, and understanding how things come together, how things flow, understanding schedule and routine and organization, those kinds of things. The Emperor has that kind of energy, or he wouldn't have an empire to run, right? And then with the 5 of Cups, this cup is this person is paying attention to what they have lost. This is a card of grief or a pause, and they're not paying attention to what's left on their path and what's ahead of them. So sometimes we get caught up in the details of things and caught up in how is this working right now, and we're not forward thinking to see what else is ahead of us. We're too busy paying attention to what we've lost to see what we still have sometimes. So if things have not gone well in your empire, or you're really focused on a small part of things, or of focusing on what you don't have inside of your realm, if you will. This could be inside your home, inside your family, inside your job, and you're only paying attention to what you don't have. It really makes it difficult to go along the journey and be excited about what's yet to come, or to appreciate what you still have going for us. Oh, I'm going to take a drink, but apparently I've already drank it all. So let's pull a card for our mental state, and we'll see, mental state, and see how it plays in with these other 2 cards. So what is mental state? And we have the 9 of Swords. So you may be feeling like a little bit of a victim right now. You might be beat up. You might be feeling like you've taken on, especially, I feel like this is coming out as taking responsibility for some stuff that may not necessarily be your stuff to be responsible for anyway. And you're really starting to get bogged down by it. So if you've been picking up the slack and running things for somebody else, or running things based on this space of loss, it can make you definitely feel like a victim. It can make you feel like you're taking on a lot of punishment that doesn't belong to you, because it probably doesn't. So mentally, for the rest of the month, that's a hard card to come out. That's a sometimes we just get beat up by life, and me talking earlier with life being life, and I made mistakes and put my energy, I didn't use my energy properly, kind of thing. I didn't use my time properly, and I wasn't able to prioritize some of the things that were really important to me because of that. So, you can get in the space where you're like, man, life is kicking my rear end right now. I have this loss. Something's not meeting my expectations, or I've lost something, or something's been taken away. And I just want to sit down and cry about it. Let's pull one for our physical space and see where that one was. And we have Justice. I just keep hearing like it's not fair. And it's not. That's the way. And if you're physically really focused on what's fair, what's right, what's just, this balancing of the scales, you can begin to feel like a victim because you know what? Life isn't fair. How many times have we been told that? You know, it's just sometimes things just don't work how, from our perspective, the way we feel is just. We're like, why do I keep getting beat up when others have this or can do that, or it goes smoothly for others where I just keep getting, eh. And it can get really in this, I want to make things fair, I want to make things just. Well, you know what? That's not for us to decide sometimes, or we're making things harder on ourselves because of our own perspective on our situations. So if we're spending all of our time looking at what we don't have instead of what we do have, we probably do feel that the world's pretty unjust and you're always having to seek this justice or fairness, or why can't things be fair? Why can't I have it good and easy, or whatever, like so and so, right? Let's pull a card for our emotional space. Okay, come on. Can I shuffle? Scorpios. Let's take this one. Queen of Wands. So emotionally, you may be feeling really freaking passionate about some stuff, right? These are a lot of really strong energies coming through, which, I mean, we're Scorpios, so what else do we expect, right? This, I really feel like us Scorpios are taking on stuff that are picking up for other people, probably more so than ourselves. We're like, I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight and I'm going to be passionate about this, and I'm going to be strong for people that need me to be strong, and I'm going to seek justice and try to run things. But in that, in our fight, if you will, it opens a lot of opportunities for this this feeling of unfairness, this feeling of lack, and a feeling of loss. And it can be really empowering to work through those kinds of things and help others. It can also be extremely detrimental to our own life because we get too focused on this stuff instead of on the positive sides of things. So again, looking at lack rather than, looking at what you don't want instead of what you do want. And I find changing my focus, changing my perception in those kinds of situations can really help move past these more uncomfortable feelings, or this the parts that make things really frustrating and hard. If I'm able to shift my perspective, like if I was able to shift this person's perspective, yeah, this has been lost, but look what's ahead. Lift your head, change perspective. He'd be able to see that there's still some really awesome stuff ahead of him. But right now, with his perspective, he's only seeing this darkness, only seeing this loss. So it may be very important, however this energy is playing out in our lives, to shift our perspective so we can work through the negative aspects of things. And we have the Three of Swords coming out and for our spiritual space. The Three of Swords are hurt feelings, just simply put, from how I think of these cards and relate to these cards. Some people like to get into that it's a third party situation, whether there's someone involved in a way they shouldn't be within a kind of a relationship, whether it be romantic or not, or it's receiving information from a third party. Regardless, to me, when it all boils down, this is hurt feelings. So whether you're hurting someone else's feelings or someone else is hurting your feelings, with the rest of these kind of energies, this isn't shocking to me. These are really strong, forceful, I'm going to stand and fight and I'm going to make the decisions, I'm in control kind of energies with these three here. And then you have these two here that are, I don't want to say feeling sorry for themselves because that makes me kind of feel like an ass, but really, their perspective is allowing them to feel like the victim. Their perspective is allowing them to feel the loss. Their perspective is not one that's coming through in a positive way. So if we do get caught up in these kind of negative, victim-ish, and when I say victim, I'm not, you may have every freaking right in the planet to feel like a victim right now. I'm not diminishing the level of that. So please don't think I'm just like, oh, you should never feel sorry for yourself or you should never feel beat down. If you are a victim of a situation, regardless of the severity of it, you still have control of your perspective of the situation. So I'm not telling you to be like putting on a fake smile and say everything's awesome if you really, if it's not. But you can accept what is and then work on adjusting your own perspective, how you feel about it, how you deal with it. Sometimes we hurt our own feelings, and sometimes when we're caught up in that kind of energy, we can hurt others' feelings. Or if we're in playing the victim role, or we're having a moment of grief and paying attention to our lack, it's sometimes we make it easy. We expose part of ourselves that allows for another person to hurt us easily because we're showing our weakness in our moment of grief or in our moment of lack. So Scorpios, it looks like it's a pretty intense ending to the month. To me, these cards are telling me to stay focused on the positive, be aware of perspective, do what we can to stay organized, to stay, to make our home and our space one that's put together well, that we're serving ourselves by putting our energy into where we really need it, and have some excitement and passion and those kinds of things regarding that, and just be aware that yes, there's tough feelings that surround us all the time. There's tough situations. There's really sad things happening in the world all the time, but what can you control right now? And what can you do right now? That's where the magic happens. What can I do? What can I say? What can I be? What can my perspective be that's going to help through the situation? What is my role here? Instead of taking so much ownership and I'm gonna beat this thing to death, or I'm gonna own it and feel sad, regardless of how that's playing out in our lives today, Scorpio. I haven't been doing this for the others, but I feel like it's necessary with this one. I'm going to pull one more card, and I'm going to pull it as a suggestion kind of card to give us a little more to end with, if that makes sense. We get the Death card, which is our card, Scorpio. And to me, there comes a completion. where things have to come to an end and restart, right? That's what the death card's all about. He's not about actually dying. He's about whenever something has come to a complete end, a new cycle will start. So where in this, what do you have to complete so this can keep moving? Because you're not going to get rid of this kind of stuff until there's a completion, until there's some kind of decision made, or come to some kind of acceptance or understanding to be like, okay, I'm done with this. We're gonna move on to something else in life. So goes back to perspective to me big time. What is your perspective, Scorpio? And how can you change it? How can you shift it and adjust it to best serve yourself so you're living in the healthiest way that you can?